Hey everyone, Elise here. I'm hopping in again today to bring you guys up to speed with our weekly mindset mastery class. So, why is mindset always a big conversation when it comes to French? Why do I keep it a part of the conversation when it comes to French? Well, it's simply because the majority of people, whether you're a child, but especially our adults, when you're trying to learn the language, your biggest blocker happens up here. So every week we train on how to get the best strength for our mindsets so that all the challenges, all the self-talk, all the negative things and thoughts that might be happening in our mind can be removed through activating our French speaking selves. Okay, so today we are going to hop in. Thank you guys for joining. And we're gonna talk about, well, we're gonna, I like to make things kind of fun. We're gonna talk about you being an elite linguist, okay? An elite linguist, and we're gonna dive in and share just for a short bit on that, okay? So today we're gonna talk about the French warrior code, all right? Train like an elite linguist. Now, it's so important if we're talking about mindset, especially when it comes to language acquisition, we often have to imagine ourselves. We often have to see us as that future thing before it happens. And one of the analogies I love to say is that French is a journey and it's not an easy one. It's a challenging one. And often you have to almost think like a warrior and think of someone who's just pushing through. And when it's not making sense to you, you're taking a next step despite the lack of understanding. And those are really the people who I see excel in the language where they see the challenges as an opportunity. So today we're going to break our limiting beliefs. And you guys are going to be my elite operatives, okay? Proving that fluency is a skill to be mastered, not a gift that you are born with. A huge myth is that people often think that you are just naturally born with the ability to speak French and learn all these different languages. It's a skill. And it's a skill that actually once you acquire in one language, you may find those same steps, that same mindset will help you acquire another language if that is indeed your goal. So your first step for today is to warm up. Okay, you've been drafted. All right, guys, and understand that fluency isn't magic. I want everyone listening to this to get that. Fluency is not magic. It's not talent. And today I want to invite you guys to think of it as more of a mission. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? So right now I want each student, I want you to write down and do it actively, okay? When we write things down, it becomes more real for us and we put it out there. Okay, it now exists for real when we write it down. So I want you guys to write down what is your biggest excuse for not speaking French. So that can be I'm bad at languages, I'm too old, oh, I never remember things. I'm not an academic. I'll embarrass myself. So write it down. That's your first step. Write down your biggest excuse for not speaking French. Okay, and this is for you. You're not showing anyone, you're not posting that anywhere. That is written down for you. And I encourage a piece of paper because this is an exercise. This is a physical illustration that is going to benefit you. So when you have that written down, the next step I want you to take is to destroy that piece of paper. Destroy it. Okay. If you did write it online, kind of listen some of you who are like, paper? What's paper? What's a notepad? Okay. So if it is online, I want you to delete it, but destroy it. Okay. Crumple it, rip it, burn it safely if you have to. Want you to do that. So your biggest excuse, one, okay. The second one is rip it, destroy it, crumple it. All right? Good. So now let's talk about what our 5-minute battle is going to look like. So this is where, and you're going to, it's going to be obviously more sped up because we are in a virtual space right now, but I want you to do this exercise. Your first drill is I want you to time yourself. Ask Siri or Alexa to time you if you have to. But I want you guys to time yourselves, set a 30-second timer, and say as many French words as possible in 30 seconds. Set your timer. How I do it will be faster than 30 seconds, but you'll get the idea. Okay, set your timer for 30 seconds and whatever words in French you know. Go, 30 seconds. Pause the video if you have to, no matter how random. Pause the video. Okay, hopefully you took your 30 seconds and did what you had to do. Now, your second challenge. Your second challenge is I'm going to give you a sentence and you have to repeat the sentence after me faster each time. Okay, here is your sentence. Ready? Repeat it after me and repeat it yourself over and over faster each time. Your sentence is Je suis capable de parler français avec confiance. Je suis capable de parler français avec confiance. That means I'm capable of speaking French with confidence. Your turn. Je suis capable, yeah, de parler français avec confiance. Let me show you guys my sentence in case you want to see what that looks like. Here we go. Je suis capable de parler français avec confiance. Good. So your challenge is repeat that sentence and faster each time, as many times as you feel challenged or feel it settled in you. Good. Well done. Fantastic. And now your last challenge is I want you to set yourself another timer. Take a 1 to 3 minute timer. And this is called the no translation fight. Okay. Now, this is where you set your timer and then you're going to look around wherever you are, your room, your home. If you're outdoors watching this, I want you to describe or name as many objects that you know the French version of. Okay. And you may surprise yourself, you know more than you think you know. So looking around, okay, if you see your phone, okay, you might say téléphone, or you know it kind of sounds like telephone, but téléphone en français. Oui, si tu vois, if you see, maybe you see a pen. I'm looking myself as I speak to you. You see a pen, and a pen is stylo. Un stylo, a pen. So whatever you can, set a timer. Give yourself your own timing and just see what you can naturally know object-wise as in the name of it in French, okay? And give yourself some points for that because that's a really big challenge and that's super well done. Good for you. Okay, so now we're going to watch a video. Now, this video, I like to include a video in our mastery sessions because I do like to combine like the sensory and how we're speaking and how we're doing things. So this video is really about us giving ourselves a lot more credit that skills are developed and you have the possibility and the potential to learn, okay? You have the possibility and the potential to learn not just how to acquire something, how to acquire knowledge, but how to study, how to do that effectively, okay? It's one thing for us to be able to sit and be in environments where information is given to us. It's another thing to learn how to study and do that effectively. So here's a wonderful TED Talk on that. I will be dropping the link as well below so you guys can have a listen. But let's take a look as a group for the power and the reality that exists for how to study effectively. Okay, here we go. I'm just hoping that it's sharing. The sound. Yes, it is. Here we go.
During their training, medical residents learn countless techniques, surgeries, and procedures which they'll later use to save lives. Being able to remember these skills can quite literally be a matter of life and death. With this in mind, a 2006 research study took a class of surgical residents learning to suture arteries and split them into two groups. Each received the same study materials, but one group implemented a small change in how they studied them. And when tested 1 month later, this group performed the surgeries significantly better than the other residents. We'll discuss the secret to that group's success, along with 2 other highly effective study techniques which can be applied both in and out of the classroom. But to understand why these methods work, let's first unpack how the brain learns and stores information. Say you're trying to memorize the anatomy of the heart. When you're introduced to a new concept, the memory is temporarily encoded in groups of neurons in a brain area called the hippocampus. As you continue to learn about workings of the heart in class or study its chambers for an exam, you reactivate these same neurons. This repeated firing strengthens the connections between the cells, stabilizing the memory. Gradually, the knowledge of heart anatomy is stored long-term, which involves another brain area known as the neocortex. How information is transferred from short-term to long-term storage is still not completely understood, but it's thought to happen in between study sessions, and perhaps most crucially, during sleep. Here, the new knowledge is integrated with other related concepts you already know, such as how to measure heart rate, or the anatomy of other organs. And the process doesn't end there. Each time you recall heart anatomy, you reactivate the long-term memory, which makes it susceptible to change. The knowledge can be updated, strengthened, and reintegrated with other pieces of information. This is where our first study technique comes in. Testing yourself with flashcards and quizzes forces you to actively retrieve knowledge, which updates and strengthens the memory. Students often prefer other study methods, like rereading textbooks and highlighting notes, but these practices can generate a false sense of competence, since the information is right in front of you. Testing yourself, however, allows you to more accurately gauge what you actually know. But what if, while doing this, you can't remember the answers? Not to worry, making mistakes can actually improve learning in the long term. It's theorized that as you rack your brain for the answer, you activate relevant pieces of knowledge. Then, when the correct answer is later revealed, the brain can better integrate this information with what you already know. Our second technique builds on the first. When using flashcards to study, it's best to mix the deck with multiple subjects. Interleaving or mixing the concepts you focus on in a single session can lead to better retention than practicing a single skill or topic at a time. One hypothesis of why this works is that, similar to testing, cycling through different subjects forces your brain to temporarily forget, then retrieve information, further strengthening the memory. You may also find connections across the topics and better understand their differences. Now that you know how and what to study, our final technique concerns when. Spacing your review across multiple days allows for rest and sleep between sessions. While offline, the brain is actively at work, storing and integrating knowledge in the neocortex. So while cramming the night before the exam may seem logical, after all, won't the material be fresh in your mind? The information won't stick around for the long term. This brings us back to our medical residents. Both groups studied the surgery for the same amount of time, yet one group's training was crammed in a single day, while the other more successful group's training was spread over 4 weeks. The reason all 3 of these study techniques work is because they're designed with the brain in mind. They complement and reinforce the incredible way the brain works, sorting through and storing the abundance of information it's fed day after day. If you find it difficult to reach a state of flow while you're studying, maybe we can help. Watch this video to learn more about this unique mental state of effortless engagement.
All right, so that was a fantastic video just to share a little bit more about how to study and this applies to everything, okay? So I found it very useful, especially for our language learning, where for some reason people can think, you can switch careers at a different time in life. You can maybe learn a new skill that doesn't feel as maybe as difficult as French learning is, but it applies to all learning, okay? So you can study, you can get the right tools and the right skills in order for things not just to be learned, but to be retained. Because nothing, unless it's retained, it can be considered an actual learning. Okay. So I'm so thankful for you guys for watching that with us. And now I'm going to leave you with a little homework as usual. Okay. Now, the mantra I want to leave you with for today is all about the same mission, seeing French as your mission. Okay. So your mantra is, and feel free to repeat it after me, to write it down, to record it somewhere. And it is, I train for fluency. I don't wish for it. I train for fluency. I don't wish for it. Awesome. So there you have it, guys. Your mindset mastery session, really tailored to let you know that learning French is possible for you, even as an adult. Okay, we teach a lot of younger students who have the privilege, I would say, to attend French schools, but our adults are learning French for different reasons. There's different visions for their lives that they imagine, and French is a vehicle that they see in order to get them there. So I want to support you on that journey. If you are looking to learn in a way that is more formalized, in a way that's fun, that's comfortable, and where you feel like you're making those steps, you're making those strides to get to the French fluency you deserve, then I'm leaving a link below for you to join our French Fluency Academy. Reach out. We'll be more than happy to welcome you to the fam. Take care, guys.